Good evening, everyone. My name is Alo Esther, and I'm
Mm.
a yes.
Ah, thank God.
Can you hear me clearly?
Yes,
Yeah, I can hear you clearly.
Okay. Good evening. So, my name is Alo Esther, and I am a data scientist at the site Tech Hub. Right. And today we'll be analyzing some data sets, and we'll be looking into the World Economic Outlook data set. Right. It's basically contains the debt and employment data all over the world, right? Different countries. And you'll be seeing the data sets from the year 2000 to 2024. So I'll just give a general overview. For the analysis, we'll be looking at key variables. We'll be looking at the gross and net government debt for each countries. So there are like a lot of countries in the data set I'll be showing you, but we'll be focusing mainly on four countries for the analysis, right? We'll be looking at their gross and net debt, we'll be looking at their employment figures in million, and we'll be looking at their employment rates also in percentage. So the five countries we are going to be using as case study is going to be the United States, Germany, Japan, Brazil, and Nigeria. So I'm supposed to share my whole screen because I have to be juggling. But let's see how this will go. Let me. Oh God, a minute, please. Okay. So this is the data set. You know, a very raw data set, scattered, and all of those things, not well structured. The data set was in form of CSV file. I hope you're able to see it, right? And then I had to make some analysis. I had to clean the data. I had to drop some rows that are empty. Coming.
O-
Okay.
okay, Sister Esther, please, can you go to, can you
Yeah.
just maintain this cargo, maintain this collab, explain through how you analyzed
Okay.
it, clean the data. There's no need of carrying to
Yeah,
up
that's
to
what
the
I'm doing
Excel
now.
part. I think you did, you check
Just to
your
show the
info.
data.
You check your info here, you can use your info to explain all the missing value.
Okay. So I have to clean data sets here. For the data sets, we have sorry, we have 106 columns, which I will not be going into fully. So I had to clean the data set. I had to remove empty entries, right? Blank entries. And there are some important columns I had to work with, which are the dataset column, the series code, OBS measure, the country, the indicator. The indicator is where we see countries for the net debt, the gross
Okay,
debt, the unemployment, the employed, and all of those things, the
thank you. Please,
frequency
one,
and the
one minute,
scale.
1 minute. Can you show us the table? Do you print the head? Show us the table, the kind of
Yes,
data that is inside for us to know what you're talking about.
this is the table, 5 rows and 106 column.
Why
This
don't you
is the
print it?
head
Do you use print?
of the first set.
Do you use print?
Yes,
You shouldn't have used print.
yes.
Sorry.
No, no, no. I didn't use print.
DF. Okay, done
I
separately.
use
Done separately
df.ed.
would have been nice. The head separate, the
What do
describe
you say?
separate. Doing the head separate and doing the describe separate would have been better.
In different entries.
Yes, it would have been better, but right on. There's no need. You can continue. Just for another time.
Okay. So this year is the head. We have these columns, and then there are like other columns where it contains the year columns, right? So from 2000 to
Okay.
2030, they're like
I
separate
have
columns
another
for that one.
question. I have another question. How do you
Okay,
handle these
go on.
decimals displayed functional cards that are none? I think most of them are non-value. Do you actually displace the entire column, or you know how to? So in your next explanation, tell us how you handle those missing values.
Okay, for the missing values, I had to convert all of them because for data analysis here, the
Okay.
data set understands you replacing your missing values with none, right? So I
Yes.
had to like replace them for consistency in the data set. I had to replace them with none,
Okay.
and I just went on with the analysis.
Okay. I want to ask another question as regard that. Um,
Okay.
do you think all the columns are really necessary to be kept, or you dropped some columns that are not necessary?
I said it earlier, I dropped a lot of column. I said
Okay.
it in my slide. So I worked with columns that I know would
That
give
are very
me, let me,
relevant.
oh,
Okay. Okay.
yes,
Right
they are
on.
very relevant to the analysis I need
Okay.
because basically we want to look at the debt rate, the net and gross debt rate of these countries,
Okay.
and then the employment rate of these countries, right?
Yeah.
So there were some columns that were not necessary,
Okay.
right? But if you see here, I don't know if you can see my cursor. There's
Yes,
like
I'm with you.
indicator here. This indicator is very important because
Yes.
that's where the information of the net debt, general percentage employment rates, gross debt, and all of those things
Yes. Even
are. So it's like a very
the
important
indicator
one.
alone, we can actually use it for NLP. We can perform NLP with
Yeah,
the
exactly,
indicator,
exactly.
the series code, and the data set. They are very,
Series
very
code.
key this thing that we can use. And country, it can be used for advanced NLP. So right
Yeah.
on.
Oh, thank you for that. For that. So there were a lot of, like I said before, we have 106 column. Obviously, not everything is going to be like important.
Yeah.
So I had to drop most of them. Yeah, I did the whole description just for analysis sake. Yeah, so to the chart proper, why we are here. Let me just move there. Mm, sorry. Oh, I did not call you. So we'll be working with the gross debt first, right? So for this particular visualization,
Okay.
I worked majorly with indicator and the country. So for the indicator, I had to also pick what I needed for my analysis because it's not all of the
The features.
words in the indicator that I actually need for my analysis.
Yes.
So I had to go with the net debt, general government, percent of GDP, the gross debt, general government. Oh, that was twice. Okay. Okay. Let me explain this. So the way data set is this first line, right, is a whole entry for an indicator, for a country's indicator. So it is not like it is one. So this whole one is like one entry, and then this is like another entry. So this first line is for the net debt, while the other one is for the gross debt. Do you get? So yeah, I just wanted to clear that.
Okay. Thank you.
So I had to do okay, is that from my hand? So I had to plot this graph to show. Wait, I'm coming. Let me go. Back. Oh my yeah. Gross debt to GDP first. GDP is gross domestic product, right?
Yeah.
And when we talk about gross debt to GDP, is the total public debt of a country, right?
Mm.
Include whatever it is that you want to include, as long as it is the country's debt, the public debt, right? Is what we refer to as the gross debt to GDP, and it basically reflects the size of the country's debt burden relative to its economic output, right? So we're actually relating this to what the economy has, right? And for this graph, let me zoom in. Can you see the
Yeah,
graph?
we can. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can. Continue. Continue.
So for this graph here, we okay, thank you. For this graph here, like I said before, we had to work with these two for five countries, right?
Yeah.
Just so it can be clear. So we for Japan, we have that is this first line here is for Japan. From the graph, you can see that Japan has like the highest ratio,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Consistently exceeding like 200%.
Yes, yes.
Because of their long-standing economic challenges, right?
Mm.
So from this chart, Japan has the highest ratio. Then we'll see US. US is this red line. US
Yeah,
actually shows a rising death trend, like we can see. It keeps, going and going, especially 2000 and from 2008. That is from this see this drastic
yeah, yeah. I can see the
and it
node.
pivoted.
Yeah, the node is already rising from
Oh,
22.
there's a note.
Yes, the
You can
node.
see which note.
Node. I said the node that is holding the graph.
Okay, okay,
I
okay,
said
okay,
the
okay,
node.
okay. The node.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah. So from except from 2008, and then during the COVID-19 pandemic, let me go. That is around 2019. That is from here again. It came here, it was going steady like this, and then during the pandemic, it actually went up again, and then it keeps going up. So for the US trend, it's actually showed a rising trend. Now for Nigeria, Nigeria is this purple one here.
yeah.
When I
The
did
law
this,
of
that's
Nigeria
like a
will keep
question I
going
want
up.
to.
We
Sorry,
keep going up.
how many minutes do I have
He,
left?
he said,
How many minutes do I have left?
continue. Continue. Nobody,
Okay,
there,
okay.
we don't have any
Because
other
I have a
conversation.
question.
Don't
I have
worry,
a question. I
we
will
dey
tell
here
you
for
this.
you tonight.
You see this chart,
Yeah.
Nigeria being yes.
Hello?
Okay, it's looking here like Nigeria has the lowest debt. Can you hear me?
Yeah, there's something I actually want to chip in. So I work with a linguistic. Hello, are we together?
Yes, please
Okay.
go on.
So
Yes,
I work
yes.
with a linguistic company, and
Yes, I can hear you.
most of
Yeah.
our own personal work, we don't really get work from within country. Most of our work is actually outside Nigeria, international stuff like that. So there was a day my boss called me to the office and explained some things about GDP and all. Even with this graph now, I'm already looking at we need to bring a financial expert to explain it
Okay.
more better in terms of how this thing is actually relating to real life. Because now our GDP, it might be rising, we might have a very good GDP. In Nigeria now, I think in Africa, Nigeria is part of the country with highest GDP.
Yeah.
We have a good GDP, but at the same time, we aren't really living well. Everybody's still struggling because of what?
Exactly.
The debt we have.
Yeah. I don't know. When I
And
was doing this analysis, I was like,
part of what
bro.
my boss mentioned is that removing subsidy as a way of saving us for some things, because the money that they are keeping is not really useful. It's not really useful. You should talk about it somehow. So seeing this graph now, I can really relate what my boss is saying
Mm,
then to this, but I think we still need more clarity on it. And I know you are not a financial expert. You just did your own analysis. So you can continue, sir. You can continue.
exactly. Yeah. Because when I was doing this, I had a whole lot of question, a whole lot of
Ah no.
question.
That's
So for
when we're having our
Nigeria, yeah,
meeting, when we're having sorry to cut you short. When we're having a meeting, I mentioned something that after
yeah,
everything, there's sometimes that after this analysis, we will have to bring an expert, sit them down, put this analysis to them, let them study it, our write up, let them study it. Then we will now come on a proper show to have a discussion. So this is a live scenario now. We will look forward to
mm,
someone to bring for this. But on this analysis, take us through and please, we have more data enthusiasts among us. Show us the code and how for us to know how you arrived at your solution.
okay, okay,
Thank
okay.
you.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do
I
that.
feel like I
Let
feel
me
like this
just.
underlines why domain knowledge is important sometimes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I said I feel like this underlines why domain knowledge is important sometimes.
Yes.
Because if you are someone who has like a background in financial analysis or stuff like that, you'd be able to even better explain this whole thing. Because these people, they can see things we can't see. For
Yes.
example, with this graph now, we even though
Yeah,
we can all build this graph, this line chart, but it's not all of us that can actually
Interpreted.
understand it or interpret it.
Yeah.
If an expert would look at it and be able to interpret it in ways that we wouldn't even imagine. So like I feel like it just shows how why it's important to work hand in hand with people from other walks.
Yes, sir. So,
yeah,
Sister
I
Esther,
totally agree
right
with
on.
that. All right, sir. So for Nigeria, we'll see that from here it actually has like the lowest debt ratio,
Yeah.
but then it's steadily increasing also.
I think we
It's
need to
steadily
check some
increasing.
the
So
people that are in
it's signaling
government
the
from
potential.
208. The people in government
Excuse
in
me, Esther.
208 to 2020 to this time.
Okay,
Excuse me,
Let's go and
Esther.
check them.
Can I ask a question?
Okay, what's that, sir?
go ahead.
Now, Niger, Nigeria seems to start after, let's say, 2007 or
2008.
so. Nigeria data
2008.
seems to start. Is it because of missing values in
Yeah,
data?
it's because
Because
of missing values.
that's
Wow.
the problem. That's the usual problem with Nigeria.
Mm.
Yes, there are a lot of
Too
that data
many
set. There
missing.
are a lot
Yeah,
of missing.
too many missing data.
Yes, I
That's the
get. Yeah,
problem.
I agree. That is the problem in Nigeria, keeping their
Yeah.
data. Yeah.
Especially time series data like
Thank you
this. You
for.
can't really find.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So that's actually the reason.
Continue.
So for Germany, Germany is this blue year. So for Germany, Germany reduced after 2010,
Yeah.
right?
Currently, their
After
economy is
2010,
just
it
getting
started.
better, actually.
Yes,
Their
it's
economy
getting
is
better
just getting better.
recently. But for Brazil, this is Brazil, yeah. For Brazil, it's also like showing continuous increase in their debt level. So let me just share the code in case we have questions for this one. So it's just like a let me have I shared? No, sorry. Okay. So this is the code for debt to GDP. So I actually assigned the particular state, sorry, the particular country I wanted to work with. I highlighted the indicators I need, gross debt, the general government, and the percent of GDP. Right. I indicated the year
Okay.
and I did my year over debt to GDP.
Okay. Looking at the
Yeah.
code,
So
looking
for
at the
the
code.
okay, let me go back.
Yeah. Melt, yeah.
You can see it.
Type.
It's just like
Okay.
line plots, normal line
Okay, there are
plots.
some key points in this kind of the in this code now. Like the as type now, we should know that I think the year should be in
Mm,
object before. Is the year in object before
yeah.
or data date time
It's in
is
objects,
in
not
object.
date time.
Okay. So from objects you have to convert to int. Okay.
Yeah. The year is like it's like a column, right?
Yeah, I know it's a column.
They were
I
all in
mean,
column. Now I showed you the Excel
yeah,
file.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
Sorry, excuse me. I was even thinking maybe you'd use the year as the index column.
The year cannot be used as index column. You know, there is uh what was it called? Something code. There's something I forgot what she mentioned earlier, but the code ended the column name. So we can't really use the year as index. If you use the year as index, that means you are really reshuffling the data set. You'll be reshuffling the data
Yeah,
set.
Mm-hmm.
because
And
in most
at the other point
cases
too, where they will be
like
using
this,
the features, it won't be
they
necessary.
usually advise that we use the year as the you use the date as the index. That's what I just thought.
Oh, okay. Why should we use year as index? You know, this is part of why.
Is that
Let me
because
learn.
it's
Why?
Yeah.
There's something
because in
I
most
understand using
cases,
index.
for example, you
Okay, sir, I'm with you, sir.
okay,
I'm
you
with
know,
you. I'm with you.
listening.
Yes, sir.
So in most cases, you can when it's like in dates, like you can use it to I don't know, maybe I just find it easier to use.
Okay.
And from places where I've learned, I usually see stuff like it's more advisable to use the dates as the index column in most cases. So that's just because sometimes you can even pull out for example if you have like a date, let's say you have month, year, date, month, year, like in usual time series data now. You can
Okay.
easily just pull out the month, pull out the you can
Yes, that one
you can
you can
use
slice it out and separate them. The day,
yeah, you
the
can slice it out easily,
month, yeah.
stuff like that. So
So
that's just
you know,
why I,
in this kind of issue now, we only have year.
yeah,
We
oh
have year.
okay.
We don't have the complete date. If we say we want to use year, I think it's going to
Yeah.
affect the data set in some ways. One is that
Mm.
what about correlation between countries in values? Because if once you are using index, if you are using something for index, forget it. It will affect the other entries too. And
Mm.
also, I think part of what she explained earlier is because of the kind of feature engineering she did on this for her to get a result. That's why. If of
Oh
course,
okay.
if it's very important for us to use here as index, it is actually nice based on the uh based on where we are actually directing our analysis to. So it's actually a good one also. In case we have a continuous analysis, a continuous data rather, we can use year for our year date for indexing.
Maybe I think the mix up is because I didn't really follow through with the explanation of the data set itself.
Yeah,
Maybe I need to, after this whole thing, I need to just go back and look at the data set and all that.
yeah,
So
and
that's just what
the
I want.
session is actually recorded, so we have it on YouTube.
All right, boss.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Can I go ahead?
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Okay.
please, ma.
Okay. So that's about that for debt to GDP. Let me go back to my slide. Okay, jump. So for gross debt to GDP, we talked about that, the total public debt of the country, and we've seen for 5 different countries. So now for the net debt to GDP, former one was gross debt to GDP. So for this one, the net debt to GDP, we are basically removing the government's financial assets, like cash and investment,
Okay.
from its gross debt, right? So like getting a clearer view of the actual liabilities that the country have, right? So good. Okay. So for this graph also, for the visualization, we use line plot.
We are still on. It's not displaying here. Your fourth slide is not displaying
Oh,
here.
did it change?
No.
Okay, let me stop and do it again. How about now?
Not yet.
What's going on? What is it showing over there?
It's still showing net debt to GDP.
Yes, that's where we are. We did gross debt before.
Okay.
See the former one,
Okay.
gross debt. It's looking similar, but this is the former one, gross debt.
Yes, actually
Then this is the
very
next one,
similar.
net debt.
Net debt. Okay.
Yes, it's actually very similar. So it's actually that differentiation that we want to look at now. So for gross debt, we saw that Japan, which is the up one here, actually has the highest ratio, right? So for net debt also, it remains like most indebted. So this is also Japan up, even after accounting for their assets, right? They still have the highest percentage. Then for US and Brazil, the red and green,
Okay.
red, this is red and green, yes. It also has like an increasing trend, meaning that we are still seeing that their increased borrowing is is actually reflecting, even also after removing their financial assets, is also still increasing. Then for Germany, that's color blue, is looking like it's stable, but it keeps fluctuating on the same, will I say, pattern. So it's relatively stable, kind of, which means that their management is, they have a very good management, sort of, in their finance. Then for Nigeria still has like the low net debt rather, indicating that
Yes.
there's like a higher cash reserve rather, for Nigeria. You wanted to say something?
No, 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 no. Right on.
Okay. So let's see our code for, or do you have anything to say for this? Uh okay. Nothing, Abby. Let me. Okay. So for our net debt date code rather, we use, so for the indicator, instead of using gross debt, general government percent of GDP as our indicator, we have to change it since we're working with net debt also. There's like indicate net debt indicator in our data sets, right? So we have to change the indicator to net debt, general government percent, and percent of GDP. We worked with the same country, right? And we also use line plots. Then we did the year over for the x-axis and the net debt to GDP for the y-axis. Nothing so much, right? Any contribution for the net debt? Any question?
Okay. Please go to the code. We are not really explaining the virtualization though. We are still looking at the code also, because in one way we are learning from what you did, and also in case we want to
Yeah,
adjust some things. Okay.
yeah.
Sister Taufika, what do you say about this? Yes, I want to point you to another thing. Look at this fig size. Why do you
Okay.
love using 14 instead of 15? 15 and 16 works perfectly. Is either you use 10 6, 8 6, 15 6 is better.
Okay.
Yeah. And also, I think
Okay.
there's
Noted.
something you should have thrown that would have eased you a lot of writing too much of this thing. You should have created a new data set. Structure out a new data set. You just be calling out your values one after the other instead of writing this too much of code sometimes. That's part of data cleaning and data transformation.
Calling out your values in what
No, I
sense?
mean calling out a new data set, creating a new data set that you will be using. Now, here now again, you have to.
But the cleaned one is the new one now.
I I understand. You already removed the missing value, right? Fine. But sometimes
Yeah.
the kind of data like where you should have changed, where you change this year into int, it should have been in a new data set entirely. So there's no need of doing this melt net data set here over and over and over and over again. Do you understand what I just said?
The question- so,
Do you get, or I should explain again?
did you hear my question?
I don't get.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
So I said in my new data set, that means I've done the whole conversion there.
Okay,
That's what you're saying, Abby.
why do you keep calling out melt data set is equal to year?
Wait, did you hear my question?
I that's what I said. Maybe you should repeat it.
I said so that means in that new data set, I've done the whole conversion
You have
there.
done all the old conversion. You already clean it. Your new, you have a whole data set. Then you have a new one that you are using
I
for
think
your
that
analysis.
works.
So there's no point of calling out, melting it over and over again, turning it to a new data type. That's
I
just
think
what
that
I just
works.
said.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Any other
Mm,
thing?
if anybody other has another question or any addition to this, you can continue, ma.
Okay.
Continue.
Yeah. Thank you. So that's that for the debt part of the analysis. Let me. Okay. So I had to do like a comparison,
Okay.
right, for the difference in the gross debt and the net debt, and that was like the coming. So that's like the chart that is here. Then let me see where. Okay, I did it first. Yeah. So from the chart, basically, the gross debt is the blue. Um, what's the name now? I don't want to use color. um, I think I'll just use color. Debt here is the blue color,
Okay.
and it for each of the country is like significantly higher, right, than the net debt in many cases. Meaning that they are like high. liabilities after removing the country's assets, right? That is for the mm, and Japan still like remains the highest. Sorry, let me silence this. So Japan still remains appears in the highest debt list, right? And I had to do something. I had to Google the list of countries with their gross debt and net debt and all of those things, right? And I had to check for top 10, check for top 5, and the analysis actually were in sync. My visualization and the list I saw, they were in sync, and I was like, okay. So you can check it out also. You can check it out with the countries I used, right? There are other countries that are higher than these countries that I used, but because of the data sets that was available, right? But then the positions, the positions were runtime tallied with the results online. So yeah, for where am I? Let me check. Can you see my screen? Okay,
Yes.
I'm on my slide. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Another
Let you know.
thing, since you are focusing on 5 countries, I think
Yeah.
the next point of this thing, I don't think you need to show us up to 10 countries. You know,
Okay. Okay.
other countries are not part of our onset discussion. Not
Yeah.
part of our onset discussion. So that's another thing. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you. So why? Okay. Oh. So for the employment, we basically just want to see the measure of numbers of individuals that are actively employed in the labor force in these countries, right? So again, because of missing data, I was even looking forward to doing Nigeria
Yeah.
data sets, Nigeria's employment rates analysis, but the data was not there. It was not there. So it was just these three countries I was able to do: the United States, Germany, and Japan. So for the this analysis for the three countries, of course, the US like right has like a steady growth in employment, and there was like a visible dip during 2008 and 2020, the COVID time, right? And then they recovered back. So they skyrocketed, if that is a word. They went up back actually. For Germany, which is this orange line plot,
Okay.
it just has like a moderate growth, right? Aligned with their
Yes.
labor market. It's just like a stable, there's
It's, it,
no
it's
rising
not it's not
and
really
falling.
fluctuating too much.
Exactly. It's not fluctuating so much, unlike the US.
Hmm.
Right. Same thing for Japan. That's like a relatively flat line. I think it's even flatter than than Germany. Right. So yes, let's so that is for the employment rate for the three countries. I think Nigeria should do better with their time series data. Okay. So this is the yeah, this is the employment code. Don't worry, all those corrections that you made is still the same thing I did here, but I've taken to the
I know it's okay.
correction.
It's okay. Since I
All
understand
right,
how the
so
code works.
okay,
Mm,
so it's
mm,
just like the same step, only that I'm changing the indicator
yeah.
and the country. For the country, I didn't even specify, but because of what was available on the data set, so it just like I had to run through the whole data to know, okay, these are the countries that the data was available for. So I didn't really specify that this country, unlike the other ones. That was how I was able to know that okay, these are the only three countries that had that data in it.
Yeah.
contribute. All
Okay.
right, so the only difference in the data.
Okay.
Yeah, so contributions are welcomed if there's any.
Honest, yeah, we are fine. And if any other person has a question, you can drop. You can ask also.
Okay. Let me uh let me go back to my slide. We're almost done. I think this is the last. Then for unemployment, there was no data entry for unemployment. I wanted to do the three, but there was no data entry
Okay.
for unemployment, right? So I had to stop at the employment. Mm, yes, I had to stop at the employment data. So that's that about our
Analysis.
what is it now? World Economic Outlook analysis for debt and employment trend.
Okay.
Right, and it's one thing that is just going to do if I was, let's say, financial guru now. So it will help the country if a country like Nigeria now has this old data set, it's going to help us in the right making the right policies, right?
Yes. Yes. Because
Helping investors know if Nigeria is the best place for them to invest in and all of
yes.
those
Yes.
things. Even the citizens, it helps citizens to make informed decision, especially after the whole COVID buaha,
Mm,
right? So
yeah.
these are like
The pointers.
the what's now, yes, the pointers that we can use this analysis for. So thank you very much for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please help me to appreciate Sister Esther.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you for your availability. I see the claps. Thank you.